photography, graphic design, filmmaking, and is an award-winning public speaker. So, Miss Leila, are you there with us? I think your microphone is muted. If you can unmute your microphone.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
No problem at all. I hope you had your fill of the iftar very quickly.
And it's a bit weird because I'm on my iPad because my laptop has issues. So the camera is on the side. So I keep looking like this and then going like this. So if I get confused, so sorry, bear with me. I keep forgetting where the camera is.
No problem at all. Welcome to the evening and this lovely session with all the ladies. To just begin, could you please share your perspective on what is representation, what is inclusive progress and sustainability for you? What does it mean in a nutshell for you?
Well, in a nutshell, for me, diversity is accepting others. We all want to be accepted, but sometimes we let go of the fact that we need to accept others as well. Representation is being true to myself, not trying to be constricted because of what society thinks of me.
Mm-hmm.
And sustainability is, it's hard to keep our diversity and our true representation. So to keep on doing it is sustainability for me. So I'm sorry, I'm going to ask a question. So this is just where I say my opinions, just like bullet points, or this is where I say my actual speech? I got a bit confused. I'm so sorry.
You can say your actual speech and then we will come back to some more questions. Yeah.
All right. I'm so sorry about that. I got confused. Ramadan is getting. So let me start by clarifying one point. I consider myself lucky to have had an upbringing that enforced mutual respect. Just because we wear a hijab doesn't mean that we are better than others. Hijabs are a big part of our identities, but it is our personalities that earn respect. Several of my best friends don't wear hijabs, and I've met some women in hijabs who were other women's worst enemies. I think we've all had that. It's a disease of the ages, not accepting those who are different from us. Even though diversity is a key element in enriching our lives.
Wait, I think I'm doing.
The host can unmute her.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I think I mistakenly muted her.
Did I unmute myself again?
No, I think I did. Okay, how about now? Are you on now?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now. I didn't touch it. What happened?
I think I mistakenly pressed something. I got a note from, yeah, she didn't know. I got a note from someone and they didn't know that you were the one that was speaking. I'm so sorry.
No. I just don't know where everyone stopped hearing me. So I will talk tonight about 2 points: diversity in a personality and representation in a more general sense. So let me state what every woman in hijab already knows. It is not easy being a woman in hijab. I think for a while, living in a Muslim community, we got used to the idea of discrimination against women who did not wear hijab, the lack of respect they would face simply because they did not cover their hair. And again, it's about a personality. Hijabs are a part of us, but it's not the thing that earns respect. It's about accepting people as they are and not passing judgments. And I have best friends who wear hijab and who don't. So in a workplace, unfortunately lately, it's been the opposite. Some women in hijab have been discriminated against because of wearing hijab. And that's a reverse of accepting like a diversity at the workplace. Some of us were bypassed when it comes to representing, MCing, leading a project, and even promotions. I was actually advised several times that it might have been easier on me if I would take the hijab off or not wear the abaya, at least just wear regular clothes with the hijab. So one of the things that helped me fight this brand of discrimination was diversity at the workplace. And some of us think of diversity as the inclusion of different types of people, such as people of different races or cultures in a group or an organization. But diversity also means having or being composed of different elements. And I am that. I'm a conservative Saudi woman with a westernized mentality and a diverse range of interests. Some family members and friends see this as a handicap. And at my current job, it turned to be a blessing. So, sorry. Currently, I'm a lead for social media. I create content, produce graphic designs. I take my own photos for my content. I create and direct videos. I also record voiceovers. That's very recent. When I'm not creating my own materials, I'm reviewing and approving work done by others, whether it's content or visuals. And all of this was made possible by the fact that when it comes to my hobbies, I have commitment issues. I could never stay focused on one thing for long. And I had this thirst. I wanted to learn about everything. Well, everything that was of interest to me. No math. I really hate math. Shout out to you guys. Anyone who loves math, you're a hero in my book. So I ended up knowing something about several things. And after years of collecting hobbies, I am finally in a position to make money out of those hobbies. I maintain my financial independence by doing what I love, which is photography and writing and videography and design. Not all the time though, because no job is perfect. And yes, I know that to be truly great at something, you need to dedicate yourself to constantly improve and develop at that something for at least 2 years. I know that, and I'm fine not adhering to it. Because diversity is not just being different and accepting those who are different. Diversity to me is accepting all those mismatched pieces of my personality and making them simply work well together. Everyone dreams of having a job where they'll get to do what they love. I have that. It did not come easy though. I had years of trying to find what works for me. Unemployment, debts from a failed project, criticism because I was flighty, unfocused, distracting myself with so many things to learn. But I persevered. And that wasn't an accident. It was a decision to persevere, because perseverance, it was what carried me throughout the ups and downs of life. That and accepting myself as it is. Something that we tend to forget every now and then. Now, that's my take on diversity. We don't just have to think about the diversity in relation to accepting others. It's also about accepting ourselves, even when pieces of ourselves don't make that much of a sense to us. Now, let's quickly talk about representation. Growing up, that always landed me in trouble. I was an outspoken child at a time when girls were supposed to be shy and terrified to death of authority figures. I had an unhealthy dose of indifference and lack of fear, and I spoke my mind. To my younger self, nothing should be wrong as long as I spoke the truth, and I did not understand why a teacher will brand me as insolent simply because I did not speak to her while staring at the ground. Fortunately for one, no one broke me out of that habit. I continued to be the same into my adult life. And I'm grateful for that, because as a woman, to fight back certain hijab stereotypes is not easy. Just because I wear a hijab doesn't mean that I need to act or portray myself in a certain way. It doesn't mean that I need to be shy, soft-spoken, delicate, or in need of protection. What's the fun of being a damsel in distress when we can be a knight in shining armor? or is it a knightess in shining armor? I'm not sure, so you can tell me later which do you think is the best word to use. I'll conclude my speech with a little story. An executive director asked me to attend a meeting. I went to the meeting only to discover that I was the only woman there. And I knew, looking at everyone that was there, that it was only me and my colleague Abdullah who was there, who's gonna do all the work. They were all managers, key position holders, and I spent 2 painful hours explaining why all their brilliant ideas will not work. At the end of those 2 hours, the director who invited me to the meeting came in and said, why are there women in the meeting? Actually, he used the word harim, which is very offensive in a working environment. Harim are the women who were kept in harems for sultans. And so I was understandably very offended. And I did what I do best. I spoke my mind. I said, yes, you have women here, so we can do the work and you can take all the credit. He made me pay for that. And I don't regret it. For years, I've never regretted speaking my mind, because I think living with regrets is harder. And there's a certain freedom when you represent what you truly are inside. It's not easy. Diversity in yourself and in others is not easy. And representing what you truly believe in this time, in all time for women, has never been easy. Using, I don't know what to say. I think we all been through that. And I take pride in standing up for myself. Representing women is not easy. Representing women in hijab is even more difficult. So ladies, like, get your armors out. I mean, carry it with pride and tell the world that we are here to speak. We are here to be heard. And yes, you can fight us, but brave women before us, braver women even than us, didn't give up then, and we won't be giving up now. So shout out for diversity, for representation, and for sustainability. And back to you.
Thank you, Leila. That was very inspiring. And from your statements, I did like the fact that you say that we have to accept ourselves in diversity, and in ensuring that, you know, we get our space there out there in the society. I'd just like to ask you one thing, since you are from the PR and media background. I'm sure you face a lot of resistance in terms of, and people might even ask you questions like, have you ever had this question like, oh, you're in the media, that kind of an oh with the eyebrows raised up, just because we're wearing a hijab. So did you come across anything like that, and how did you manage?
Not exactly that, because we do have women in the media, but they're always behind the screen, so to say. Mostly they're behind you read them, but you don't see them. But lately it has been changing. What I've been, actually, if you're asking about questions that are awkward, it's like, why are you still single? Why aren't you married yet? Like, why do you like this job so much? And, you know, you go out and you mix with men and all of, and I find out that, unfortunately, going with it with an attitude of not your business, or, you know what, a lot of men are lousy, I haven't met the right one yet, it just stretches it out. So I use diplomacy, and it's what media taught me, to be diplomatic and to be careful. And in this time of age, everything you say out there goes into social media, and it is there to stay forever. So if it comes to media, no, people are not surprised that I'm in media, but they are surprised by other things, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yes. My question is also because you said that you do create a lot of your own content and you do photography and videography yourself. So, you know, I do experience that myself, being in the media and communication field. So that was why the question was. Thank you so much for your response.
Welcome.
So does anybody have any questions for Leila now, or we take the audience questions later?
Let me, my question is, how do you feel when you wear a hijab? How do you feel when people look at you like, why is she wearing that and everything? And you know, one thing that I want to say right now is, I think, okay, let me just be sincere. At first, when I see people like you all wear the hijab, I'm always like, why are they wearing it and everything like, but I now notice that, I know it's because of your culture and everything like that and your religion, but now I see that it's even very helpful in the sense that we have to wear masks. You understand? So what I do most of the, and I try to copy you all in the sense that when I usually wear the hijab, and I know, and it's so easy. I know that it's so easy to use it to cover your face. So instead of me using the mask, I prefer to dress like you all do, and I find it so easy. But one thing that, like, the way I felt before, like I'm always like, why are they wearing it? How do you guys feel when people look at you all like that?
Honestly, it does not offend me because it's understandable. We're stereotyped in media. People think Saudi women, especially, were prisoners, were being controlled by men. So when they meet a Saudi woman, she's in hijab, she's religious in a way. I don't even shake hands. They expect you to be of that stereotype, and then they're surprised that you're not. And they would ask you that question, how come you're like that? It never offends me. I actually see it as an opportunity because I'm breaking the stereotype. I'm showing that no, women are different. Women in Saudi, Arab women, women everywhere are different. Just because we wear a hijab doesn't mean that we're gonna be shy or not have an opinion or anything. I grew up with 6 brothers. I know how to fight, and I know how to fight dirty because that is the only way I can survive with them.
I
I
cannot.
have 7 sisters. They are all married. I'm still in the house with 6 brothers. Believe me, it is not easy. So honestly, I'm never offended. I love it when they say that because it gives me an opening to tell them more about other women out there.
That's good. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Leila. That's nice. And let's move on to our next speaker. And this woman is just another inspiring lady to all of us and the community at large. And she is Suad Al Shamsi. I would like to just read out her profile to you guys. She graduated from Coventry University with MBA in Aviation Management, as well as she is holding a degree in Aerospace Engineering from Hertfordshire University, along with bachelor's degree in aviation management from the Coventry University in UK. She has an honorary doctorate for the role of women in leadership in aeronautical engineering from the American Academy of Specialized Studies in Egypt. She's embarked on this journey in the aviation industry when she joined many leading companies involved in aviation as a part of her training in aircraft engineering field, such as the Messier Bugatti, Honeywell, Kunz, Airbus, and Boeing. She joined the Emirates Airlines as the first aircraft engineer in UAE and has been working in the maintenance field for more than 10 years and continues to grow in the aviation sector. And now she is working as a senior manager and technical advisor for one of the biggest aviation projects in UAE, Midfield Terminal Project, which is in Abu Dhabi New Airport with Etihad Airways. She's been a speaker in many forums and conferences in UAE, the Gulf countries, and worldwide. So let's welcome Ms. Suad onto the discussion today. Yes, Suad, a very warm welcome. How are
Thank
you
you.
doing today?
Ramadan Kareem, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. And I'm really, first of all, I'm impressed with Layla. MashaAllah, God bless you. And I know all of you ladies, such a leader, such as a gluing in the whole world. And I'm happy that to be with you today. And it's a very sensitive topic. I think we are talking about today is the hijab. And only I will add something. Today I announced it. Even my family so far they don't know. Today I received my PhD certificate, so I'm the first one in the aviation get the PhD. So finally,
Well,
I'm done. So today I just received that this is the good
bravo.
news.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So this is we show that a lady with hijab, with everything that we can do it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
If I will add to Layla and everyone, when I heard about the topic and the hijab, maybe I will talk from the aviation industry, especially when I'm working with more 90% with a male, which I kept remembering when from more than 18 years when I joined the university, when I decided to go to aeronautical engineering and be aircraft engineer. People, they don't, first of all, they don't trust that lady can be an aircraft engineer, or an environment is fully of male. They think like, okay, how a woman can be an engineer, how she can be in aviation or even pilot. I remember the shock I got in my life when I joined the university in UK. And one of the teacher, he said, I will not accept you in the lecture because you are wearing the hijab. And either you remove the hijab, either you are not allowed to go to the workshop. And this is keep me thinking, nothing should stop us, nothing should, our belief, our faith that this is my right to choose either to wear the hijab or not. This is should from your heart and your mind. So it was take me I remember 3 days to decide that either I have to continue taking this lecture or I have to drop it, because that actually the instructor, he don't accept me with the hijab. So I have to find another solution. And I remember I was walking in the market, and I found the hat of the man, the whole hat, they wear it in the winter. And I went, I cover my neck and I wear it. And when I entered to the workshop, he said, why you are covering? I said, this is not hijab, this is a hat. And a lot of men, they are wearing the hat, you cannot stop me. So I noticed if the lady with hijab or without hijab, we cannot force her either to remove it or to wear it. They have to believe from their inside that this is my right to choose it and believe. And this is the thing I always say for the lady. The hijab will not stop us working, will not stop us educating our side, will not stopping us from glowing. My niece, actually, she said a sentence today, and I love it. She said, color your dream. And when she said, color your dream, and I said, what do you mean color your dream? And she said, color everything of your dream, nothing stop us. So you can notice, mashallah, I saw you lady with a brown hijab, with white hijab, with a black hijab. We can be glowing with our hijab. No one can stop us because we are just wearing hijab. And when it came to graduation, when I came back to work in the aviation industry, I noticed that the difficulty we face it is the gender diversity, because it's an industry, it's fully of male. No one accepts you. People will look at you. Are you working with the uniform and wearing your hijab? You will wear safety shoes, helmets. This will not stop you. And it's take us to change the mentality of people that our dress, our look, our body will not stop us for continuing. And this is take me, I remember more than 2 or 3 years to show to the people, women can do whatever they dream because they born actually as a leader. We born as a leader by our mentality, by our heart, by our body. We can be in any industry with our hijab and with our belief. And when Layla, she was saying how she started fighting and she never listened to the people. And this is what I think in any industry of us, we are fighting to show that women can be in any industry, economic and medical. I can see a lot of us there in the environment, in any industry, and we are succeed. So I think we have to show the diversity from my side and the changes we have to show to the people that nothing can stop us. Nothing can say no because you are wearing what you are wearing. You cannot enter to any, maybe even to area. We can be glowing with our hijab. We can be leader. We can be anything. Today, when I received my PhD certificate, I just noticed that this is not a stopping, a stage that we need to continue. as a way to show the new generation, the lady, the girl, because there are a lot of girls I keep receiving. Okay, I want to be an aircraft engineer. I want to be a pilot. Is it allowed to be working with a hijab? And I show her a role model, pilots. And I remember from 2 days I had a conference with the first Saudi female as a pilot. And I told them, you can see, you can be whatever you want with hijab or without hijab. This is the faith, this is the strong and the force. Just believe on your dream. And as my niece, she told me today, color your dream and you will reach.
Thank you, Ms. Suad. Surely we will all color our dreams, definitely.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. That's a very good phrase we can take back from the session from you. I just have
Thanks,
one
Mom.
question for you. How do you ensure a work-life balance with your family as well as your work?
Actually, I have teach myself and learn how to manage timing, because actually even till today I'm working with COVID-19. We're still working in the site for the project. So what I try to do, I do a schedule for myself, daily schedule, weekly schedule, a monthly schedule. And this is schedule, it's my kids, my family, my mother, my work, as well my hobby. As I'm a writer, I have 5 novels, and I like writing and reading a lot. So I keep balancing, because when we balance in our life, we will feel the happiness, we will feel that we need to continue giving for the country, for the society, for even our government. Because if we are focusing in one corner only, if I focus only in my career, I will not give the right for my family. And in our religion, the Prophet Muhammad, he said, we have to give the right for every single one in our life. So I try to balance, to give to my family, for my hobby, for even my body, for myself. So I think this is more to practice how to do it. And the best thing we have to do it is I do a schedule daily, like every day what I have to do, even if it's a phone call, and a weekly and a monthly. Yes, I cannot 100% to complete it, but at least try step by step. And I noticed in the beginning it was very difficult, but slowly I try to practice it until I noticed 70 to 80% I complete of my schedule, either daily or weekly.
Thank you. That's amazing. That's nice.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Does any other participant have any
I do.
questions? Yes.
I do.
Yes, Leila, go ahead.
So going back to that time when you were a student and that professor or teacher told you that you can't attend while you were wearing a hijab. Now, understandably, at the time you were still young, but now years later, you're financially independent. You've gone through a lot, and you've got your PhD. Mashallah, congratulations.
Thanks a lot. Thank
If
you.
you see him today with your current personality, with all those experiences, and I don't know, even the pain that makes us stronger today, what would you say to him?
Actually, Lily, you know what I done? After first year of my working career, I went and I visited him. I went by myself to UK, and I show him the first certificate. I got it as first aircraft engineer in United Arab Emirates, and working
Wow.
with the biggest company maybe in the worldwide. And I told him, I show him the picture when I got the awarded, and I say, see, nothing stopped me. And I think because you were so negative with me, and because of this moment you show me that I cannot, it reflected to I can. So I just want to show you that you never stop me. And every single year I send him in the Christmas actually at a prison, and I show and any article it's coming and written in the newspaper, I just in a Christmas I send him and I say, see, it's nothing to stop me. Even when you kick me out from the workshop and you said you cannot, I did it and I continue. Now I'm in the aviation industry. I'm 16 years in the career, and you will never stop me. And one day I will teach in the university like you. And believe me, every year in the Christmas I send him a present and letter, just not to make him angry, as much I show him that we are different and nothing can stop us.
Yeah, I bet that will make him think twice before belittling anyone else. So,
And this is
I love it.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leila. Any other questions? Oh, sorry, Ms. Swad. Any other questions? Okay. So if we don't have any other questions for Ms. Swad, thanking her, we will move forward to our next speaker, who is Ms. Hiba Saeed, uh, a millennial mother of two with 15 years of experience in marketing and strategy in leading technology brands across Middle East and Africa. She currently leads a team for IBM's Watson Customer Engagement, a high growth business unit in the Middle East, Africa, and Turkey, handling multi-million dollar marketing budgets annually. Wow, that's amazing, Hiba. Welcome and congratulations on having achieved whatever you have in your life and holding this particular profile with IBM Watson there.
Thank you so much,
Um,
Samina. Thank you for having me.
Ramdan Kareem. And yes, go ahead and share with us your insights of what exactly does diversity, sustainability, and representation mean to you?
Yeah, so I mean, what can I say after the amazing ladies? I think they covered it brilliantly, and I heard bits and pieces of myself and my experience in everything they shared. I wanted to maybe bring a different perspective as well. So I think sometimes when I look back, it's very easy to think of similar experiences. You know, people telling me you can't do it, people feeling I don't fit. I also, I work in a male-dominated industry, the technology industry, and also hijabis are very limited in numbers and representation in this industry as well. So I think it's sometimes super easy to think about, all these experiences where people either told you you can do it, and you know that there are people who do not tell you, but I think we ladies are smart enough to tell sometimes some of the people who do not support us, and are not very happy to see the way we are dressed, even without them saying, which is, I think, an experience we all learned across the years. But there were also people who were extremely supportive, and there were also people who come from completely different culture. And again, working for a global company, I interact all the time from, with worldwide and counterparts and colleagues and mentors and people from all around the world, different cultures, different nationalities, different religions and perspectives on lives. And there were people who were beyond supportive. There were people who are still, supporting me, understanding that I'm different, which is important because I think the first thing is acknowledging that we are different and we are all different as human beings, but also seeing how I can fit into that culture, how I can grow my skills, how I can continue to be an active member and contributing to the society. And I think we all face those people, or else we would not have succeeded. We're all very smart and very strong, but people who are supporting, I think sometimes are as important as people who are taking you down and putting you down. So I am grateful for these people, and whenever I think about being different, I try not to think about those people who try to put me down. I try to think about those people who try to lift me up, and those people who, despite the differences, stood up to help, support, share some of the experience, and make sure that I'm, contributing member of the company that I'm in and the team that I'm in. So I think a change of perspective is always helpful, and I try to do the same, right? So when we talk about representation and so on, I think it's super easy for us as humans to connect with people who look like us, who come from the similar background, who dress the way you do, think the way we do, but trying to, all of us, making a point of also connecting with people who are different from us, people who are coming from different cultures, thinking differently, dressing differently. And I think that coming across the other, it just closed the circle, right? So you want people to treat you like you're not different, then we should also probably do the same. So I try to, again, change my mindset and my perspective away from all the negativity by doing more of this, by looking more to build connections with people, regardless of their, culture, background, thinking, and thought. The last thought that I wanted to share, which I think is very important, I think we're all here today to do that as well, is our responsibility towards younger generation, to women who are from, our culture, whether from the Middle East, Muslim households, or other women who don't feel they are represented wherever they are. And I always try to make a point of, being an active member of the community. So making sure that, I do external speaking engagements, making sure that, I'm sharing, I'm active on social media. I'm not just doing my job and successful in my own sphere, which helps me. And I think it's really good, but then also trying to show that role model. Because one of the things that I do remember having growing up was women looking like me who are in leadership positions. And I think that might be true for all the women who are now on this call. So acting as role models to the younger women who are trying to see themselves, who are trying to see how they fit, is a responsibility that we all have. Even if we succeeded and we managed to pull through the challenges that we did, we are all role models in a way or another to younger generations to choose whatever path they want to take in life, right? They don't have to be hijabis, or they don't have to dress in a certain way, but it's a role model for younger women to tell them that you can be anything you want to be, regardless of what choices you make in life. So this is my third thought, and this is what I always, try to do. Again, we're all busy, but I think keeping this as part of my mind, our responsibility towards younger women and younger generation is, I think, what also one of the things that keep me going, and it's consistent with what we're talking about in terms of sustainability.
Thank you, Hiba. I'd just like to ask you, being in the business and managing a huge budget, there's a lot you would be doing in terms of thinking of the sustainability of your own business as well in the times today. Just as you spoke about being a role model for the younger generations, how do you think we can make or ensure that the younger generations understand what sustainability means? Because nowadays it's like it's easy for them to get influenced. It's easy for them to just get carried away with the thought that, yes, I'm doing this project and this is it. And once I finish, I can just move on to the next one. That's it. So how does the younger generation actually understand what sustainability is and the long-term sustainability?
Yeah, I mean, it's again a part of our responsibility, right? So, I mean, I'm a mother, so these are usually some of the discussion that I have with my children, and sometimes I'm educating them, sometimes they are educating me. And I think children nowadays, their level of maturity and the kind of discussions that you can have with them and the younger generation in general, teenagers and so on, is completely different than when we were young. So I think they have the right mindset. They are enabled to have like discussions and really think about concepts and things that I don't think I was thinking about when I was their age. But at the same time, they are exposed to a lot of things in life that are not sustainable. I mean, if you think about, my daughter is 11, and if you ask her who are her role models in life, there are people who are on Instagram or YouTubers or this or that, and it takes a lot of discussions to make sure that you understand that this is not a sustainable lifestyle, that not everything you see in social media is real. These people are not living this life, and if they are living this life, which some of the things are extremely extravagant, out of the box, crazy things because they want to attract views, some of these things are not responsible, some of these things are not good for the environment, some of these things are not logical, reasonable, or just very just good things to be done, right? Or a lifestyle to be adopted. So I think it's there's a positive side and a negative side. The positive is that they are more mature in a way to understand and accept, but the negative that they are exposed to just way too much things that it's about instant gratification, right? Doing things quickly and moving on, as you said, Samina. So part of our responsibility is just to have those conversations at every level. So whether in the business, making sure, for example, we are marketing people. It's marketing is not about doing quick wins. So it's not about, I want to sell something and make revenue and I don't care what happens to my customer. No, it's an ongoing relationship. And your customer, you might win a customer today by selling something cheap or bad. But then if you lose them on the long term, and the negativity and the negative feedback, and you are in the PR and comms industry, so you understand the implications of that are very huge. So it's our responsibility as well to educate continuously, make sure that they understand that. But coming from their point of view, this is their world, right? It's very fast paced, it's very instant, it's very quick and moving on. So I sort of understand their point of view as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So maybe a little more time from the parent or the mentor, off and on whenever we need to spend time explaining to them what it is. Yeah, that'll help. Thank you, Hiba. Any other questions for Hiba from our audience? Okay, so let's quickly move on to our next speaker, who is Miss Sadia Irfan Khan, the trainer, as she is known, and she has a master's in behavioral. She's a master in behavioral skills trainer, and she has many certifications to her credits. She's a certified master trainer and facilitator, or learning and development manager, certified psychometric testing professional, and certified executive life coach. Welcome to the evening, Ms. Sadia. So, as we welcome you, we'd just like to hear from you. What do you think about sustainability, diversity, and representation in the society today? And a little bit about, how you carry yourself as a trainer with your hijab in our community. You need to unmute your microphone.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu and good evening. Thank you, Samina, for your introduction. Today, it's really a pleasure to be connected with you all on this unique platform. And it has been a unique journey of understanding and celebrating our choices. Now, to begin with, I think no other dressing choice has so much been discussed upon, written about, or argued on as much as this few yards of cloth that covers a woman's head called hijab. Across the world, there are clear-cut two sets of diametrically opposite opinions. One, that a hijabi woman is essentially a weak and oppressed one. And the other, who see hijab as an enabling tool for dignity, self-worth, and freedom. For us women, those who are sharing this platform today, I'm sure it's a representation of our strength, passion, and power to strive for our own identity. Hijab, for me, is a representation of my choice. I come from a country and a place where hijab was not forced on me. My society was quite open. I come from a city like Bombay, and where I chose hijab as a choice of dressing. It is a visual representation of what I think and I believe in. And I don't think hijab should ever be perceived as a sign of oppression, because it is not. For Muslim women, wearing a hijab is as much as a symbol of empowerment as wearing their faith on their sleeves. It would also be wrong to say that hijab is only for Muslim women, because history of scarves and veils can be traced to customs of countless cultures long before Islam. The concept of hijab is not alien to most of the societies. Now, in religion like Judaism, Christianity, Hinduism, the head covering has always been a part of women dressing. Therefore, I would say that hijab is more transnational and interreligious. From the need to not to feel alienated in the society stems the need of representation. Now, thanks to the majority of spheres of society opening up to diversify, we find hijabi fashion models, we find hijab wearing sports women, artists, photographers, we have Laila, and the list goes on. It's not that they weren't there earlier, or these talented women were hiding behind their veils and did not have courage to face the society. But it's that now the society has come to age and has started recognizing and celebrating this diversity. We find that now in the society, hijab-clad women are striding ahead and conquering new heights. I don't think hijab has ever been a limiting factor to women's capabilities. It has always been an ability of a woman to express her choice and to have courage and determination to stand by her choice. Now, secondly, hijab is also aimed to be a celebration of diversity. showcasing many authenticities that we have in our modern social fabric. Different styles of clothing, different styles of living, food habits are symbolic reminders that we humans, we are free to choose, free to pursue our needs and interests, and to become the best what we can be and what we see fit to be. We need to accept the fact that, that a hijabi woman is a kind of representation of this freedom of expression and choice of diversity. Dignity and self-respect and establishing a positive self-identity are all universal needs. We all need this, each one of us. The only thing that may differ between us is that how we set about achieving them. For a hijabi woman like me and like you all, it is a different way to achieve the same positive self-identity. So I think let's celebrate the diversity that that hijab brings in. Neither it should be banned, nor it should be imposed, but it should be her own decision. And go ahead and enjoy life.
Absolutely. Well said, Ms. Sadia. Thank you so much for your sharing your thoughts. Just a question that, there are women who give up wearing hijab at some point because they are forced by the society, or they're constantly being coming across people who are not supportive, not positive, constantly giving some remarks. What is your thought on this? That what is it for one to give up the hijab? Astaghfirullah, I don't think anybody should be doing something like that once they have the hijab, from my perspective. But what do you think about it for these women? How can they counter and continue to, keep that faith on that, yes, what I have chosen for myself is the right thing and I will continue no matter what?
Yeah, that's very nice thing, Samina. I have been actually counseling also this aspect where people find it really difficult to continue with their hijab once, either when they get married or get into a place in a family which is really open and not very conservative. They think that wearing hijab is a conservative notion. So I think here comes the mindset of and the kind of personality that the person has over the years developed, and her conviction and why she's wearing hijab. I think if that is out of her own choice and her own conviction towards it, and it is not necessary that she should only have her faith to back her as a support for her choice of wearing hijab. It can be just her choice of doing something, just as her choice of following a particular career or taking up a particular job. Wearing hijab is personal choice, I think, and it shouldn't be either asked, and she should defend herself. I think when once we decide to wear hijab, and coming from a multicultural society, I would say, like a secular place like India, or an international place, I think Western world, where I think these problems usually arise. Because in countries like where it is over here in Saudi Arabia or in US, hijab is much of an issue, wearing it, but not wearing, yes, I can agree. But in countries like over there, I think it can be an issue. And here comes the conviction, here comes the personality of the person, that why she has taken up the hijab, and she can defend her wearing hijab, I think.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Completely agree with your thoughts on that. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank
Moving
you.
on to our next speaker. Yes, she is none other than Ruqya Khan, who is an internationally honored change maker. As a life coach who has been working with words since more than 19 years now, she understands the importance of communication and what we say to ourselves. Rukia has spoken and been felicitated for her contributions at the Women Economic Forum in New Delhi. In 2016, she did a TEDx talk on the art of possibility. She has delivered talks during the Happiness Carnival conducted in Dubai by the Prime Minister's office, and she has also coached students and educationalists at the International Youth Leadership and Innovation Forum in Singapore. She is a master practitioner of NLP, which is Neuro Linguistic Programming, hypnosis, and timeline therapy. She is also proficient at the neuroscience techniques of embraining. She is closely associated with the Nama Women Establishment and the Badiri Social Entrepreneur Program. let's welcome Rukia to share her insights on this topic tonight. Yes, Rukia, good evening and Ramadan Kareem. Welcome to the session.
I will unmute
Unmute
myself.
yourself. Yeah.
I did. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for having me on board. It's an amazing, very inspiring platform to be on. So thank you so much, everybody. I just was wondering, I'm going to start off with a story, if that's okay with you guys. Because everybody shared their inputs, and I just thought it would be very interesting to take a little walk with Noura, with her granddad, as they walked into the forest. And there she was.
Sorry to interrupt. If you can just increase the volume a little bit because you're very soft.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Or
you.
I'm just going to hold on to this like this. So Noura walks with her grandfather into the forest. She is on her summer break, and together they go to the stream, and her granddad pulls out this fishing rod. Standing by the stream, they start fishing, and she observes her grandfather as he pulls out fish from the flowing stream. He has a little stick beside him, and he takes the fish out. He measures it by the stick, and then he says, okay, if the fish is smaller than the stick, he keeps it for dinner, for taking it back home for dinner. And if it isn't, he throws it back into the stream. She observes him very carefully, noticing, what is going on here? She's a little frazzled. And then she asks her grandfather, so Nanu, is it that if it grows too big, does it get bony? Is it not nice? What really happens? And he looks at her and he says something. I put that question out to you. Why do you think he throws away the big fish back into the stream? Ladies, any thoughts? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a few men also. Curious. Any thoughts? Samina?
I'm just thinking what I should answer. Putting back the big fish into the water. Why does he do that?
Why would he do that? Okay. A little frazzled, just like Noura?
Can I share?
Perseverance.
I can't hear. Yes?
Yeah, I love to share that I think maybe the bigger fisher have a bigger perspective. Maybe they have to contribute a lot. I mean, maybe the baby fish, they will give some, eggs very soon or later. But the baby one, I mean, the, less one, a small one, maybe they're okay to have,
Okay.
I think.
All right. Okay.
I
Nice
don't
way of
know.
looking at it. Perhaps. Why not?
Maybe also the little fish are these little achievements or opportunities we get in life, but the bigger fish, the as opportunities, they come and go. They're very hard to hold on to. Even when you catch them, they can get away from you if you don't persevere and work very hard to keep them. It's not about catching them, it's about keeping them. And sometimes it's not even up to you, it's external factors that will take something from you.
Yes. So Layla's close enough. So he turns around, he looks at Noura and he says, well, Noura, the frying pan that we have at home measures the size of the stick that I'm measuring it by. So how often do we let go of big opportunities because our frying pan or the mindset is contained? We just come with that mindset. We have decided for ourselves that this is how a person is. This is what they're going to fit into. This is what they're capable of. So very often when people look, I'm just going to speak generally, but sometimes we just decide within our mind that this person is capable of only this much. Or I love the question Samina posed to Layla when she asked, so do you get asked being in media? Because I have now been a freelance writer for the last 20 years. And it just happened one fine day in the afternoon where I decided, standing in front of a sink full of dishes, I said, there must be more to life than diapers and dishes. I wanted to do more with my life. And ask the right Exactly. So you ask the right question and you get the right answers. And so from there on, my journey as a writer, as a wordsmith began. I got into personality development because I kept hearing about NLP. I kept hearing about hypnosis, timeline. I was like, what is this? I want a taste of this for myself. So I come from a community where I'm from Hyderabad, from India. So not very many of us are out there doing training and coaching and, just being out and about. But for me, I had to break that mold of people constantly complaining. So when I got the opportunity to do a TEDx talk, I said yes, because I wasn't a narrator. So if you want to see a TEDx talk when someone has a great message to deliver, but is not so awesome in their oratory skills, mine is the one to look at. And also because I am probably the first and only TEDx speaker who came up on stage and said Alhamdulillah as the first word of my speech. And thank you so much, Rafat. So I'm the first and only speaker to start my speech on TEDx with the word Alhamdulillah, because and the title of my talk is The Art of Possibility. So I say that people move from feeling stuck to unstuck using gratitude and acceptance, those being two sides of the same coin, because that's what Alhamdulillah is, right? You are grateful for what you have, and you are in acceptance of whatever has been given to you. So whether it is a challenge, whether it is a blessing, whether it is a compliment, whether it's a remark that doesn't fit very well in your model of the world, saying Alhamdulillah definitely is the way forward. So, and from there on came the SMILE acronym, which is silence the mind, manage your attention, identify the intention, let things go, and energize the possibilities. So putting all of these together, when you smile, you are able to make progress. So as someone who, when you mentioned that I was felicitated at the Women's Economic Forum in New Delhi, 2015, when I went there, I was probably the only woman in the abaya. I was the only one wearing the hijab. And I mean, in the early on, now we have a lot of people from the Middle Eastern region coming in. That's common now. But the time when I had joined them in India, I was the only one wearing it. And people were like, okay, so, because in India, the way they look at the abaya and hijab is very different from how they look at it in the Middle East. So for them, it felt more like, oh, okay, so she's here. But I had to break it down to them and tell them that this is my business suit. So if you can respect someone wearing a business suit, trousers, a skirt, and a blazer, then why not in an abaya? Because this is the way we carry ourselves. This is the way we are going to give our thought, our message, and our personality respect. So yeah, so this, stand up for what you believe. And I think the more you are out there to show your self-respect and be confident in your own skin, the others will resonate back to you, because people will behave the same way that you behave with yourself in your mind. So this is how I see it.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective, Rukia. Very well said. And I think you've said very little. As for what we know, we always see your talks on Facebook, and I do follow you. So I do see on Instagram and Facebook as well. So, yes, just a general question to you. So, have you ever faced any kind of discrimination in your career just because you were wearing a hijab? Any particular incident you would like to share?
Yes, quite often actually, because starting out, I started when my children were really little. So my son was 8 months old, and my daughter was just starting school when my children were really small when I started out as a journalist. So initially, I would do most of my interviews over the phone or via email. But then as they grew up and as I started going out into the world, people were really surprised because they'd heard Ruqayya Khan over the phone, and they thought I was a bubbly, young, out and about kind of a person. They did not expect a lady to walk in holding two children and wearing an abaya or a hijab. So you know that perspective of, oh, this is you. And you know from their body language and from their face that, oh, they were expecting somebody else. But in that situation, if I were to take a step back and hold myself back, and even now it happens very often, when you go in for public speaking or generally being given opportunities, of course the openness is there now. But even now in some areas, people just kind of do measure you by what you're wearing, by how you're representing yourself. You spoke about my daily life videos. I was today on day 740 of my FB videos on Facebook. Initially, people told me, you should wear makeup, you should do this, you should do that, you should present yourself more differently. But dude, that's not the purpose of those conversations. Those conversations are meant to be crude, are meant to be from the heart, and are supposed to be in flow. And I don't think people dress up and wear makeup and do whatever they need to when they're at home, or when they're in flow. So being, again, grounded and true to your message is, I think, the thing that we really need to let people know, that this is what we stand for.
Absolutely. And I'm sure all the women out here will agree with that, because at any point, we all are so passionate about our work and we are into the job and we're least bothered about how we're looking or how we're dressed. That's more important for us. Thank you so
Presentable.
much for sharing your perspective. And moving on quickly to our next speaker, who is Miss Zai Mystique. Zai Mystique, also known as the Walking and Talking Miracle, is a global speaker, author, trainer, model, and life coach. Her works have reached out to thousands across Asia, UK, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Zai is a part of the alumni of the Women's Leadership Academy of the US Department of State. She was nominated for the Most Compassionate Womenpreneur Award in 2019, awarded the Kindness Advocate and Ambassador of WOLK, which is Voice of Loving Kindness by Singapore Kindness Movement, and conferred a 101 Most Fabulous Global Coaching Leader 2020 by the World HRD Congress. Wow. Despite her success momentum, little is known of the tragedy that struck her in April 2005. So I won't say what it is because it was on her profile, but I would let her speak a little bit about it as she talks to us today. A very warm welcome to Zai. We are pleased to have you tonight. Please share your perspective on the topic today, and I'll let you speak.
Where do I start? You guys covered everything. Good job, ladies. Okay. Hi guys. My name is Zai. I'm from Singapore. Currently locked down in Morocco and very happily isolated. Yeah. And my view on diversity inclusion. I think there's a lot of talks on diversity and inclusion, but we forgot the most important element, which is equality for humanity. Because diversity is about, the mixes, and then inclusion is about accepting or being tolerant. But we forgot about equality for humanity. So wherever I stand, whether I'm with the janitor or with the billionaire or whoever, we are all one, because I believe that we are one soul made by one hand. A very strong advocate of that. And I'd like to share a story as well. So my journey of speaking, writing, coaching started like 7 years ago. 6-7 years ago, when I newly started, I didn't know I was going to be a writer. I didn't know I was going to be doing all this human empowerment work. Of course, it started with just wanting to help women, because I saw women, all our damsel in distress. And then by working with women, I realized our boys need help. Our boys need more help than anything in the world ever. Like, we missed out on men empowerment. So I said, okay, let's do youth empowerment works. And upon doing that, I realized actually our youths are not so bad. Our parents are the ones who need serious help. Like, they're actually feeling very helpless, useless. There's no manual. And it's not helpless, useless because they choose to be, but we were all raised very differently. Our programming has caused probably most of the damage in the world. Not blaming parents again, I always go back to the idea of unlimited forgiveness leads to unconditional love, and then unstoppable possibilities. So moving forward, how I started this journey was very interesting. Like I said, equality for humanity. So I love to embrace people and include people in my life. So there's these followers I have on Facebook. One lady just wrote to me one day. This was 6-7 years ago, and she said, Zai, I would like to speak to you. And I'm like, okay, sure, let me call you. At that time there was no Facebook call. So I called her. We spoke for 10 minutes. And in the 10 minutes she went, Zai, thanks for speaking to me. I was just thinking of committing suicide and I feel better now. And this was before I wrote the book, before I started speaking and everything. So I used to do henna art, brought henna art to Japan. I've been on an entrepreneurial journey for 20 years. And then I realized that I have a higher calling, like something else that I needed to do. So when this phone call came in, that's how I started the works that I do. And then as I move on, I realized that maybe money was the problem, right? Maybe money was an element that stopped her from living her life, or money was never enough. Everyone thinks money is a problem. But actually the first thing that we all want to look at is our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with God, and then our relationship with others. And coming back to the coming back to the sisterhood strength and coming back to diversity inclusion again, I like to quote one of my clients on my mentorship program. I actually have her permission to share. So this lady from Jordan, she's in a very high position, a director in the engineering field in the Middle East. So imagine all the male-dominated industry, and she's a woman. And she used to feel very small, very unaccepted. Her voice was not heard. I think Laila spoke about the MCP at her work, and she was very belittled. So we had a conversation, our first clarity chat, and the first thing we spoke and we spoke and we spoke to get some clarity of what help she really truly needed, and if I was the coach for her. And she said one statement. She says, Zai, my confidence is so low that I feel I do not deserve to worship Allah. Yeah. She said, my confidence is so low that I feel like I do not deserve to worship Allah. I think if we talk about diversity, inclusion, and everything in this world today, I think that the root cause of everything is our self-esteem, our self-worth, and how we feel within. Because how we feel within projects what people say, I'm single and not married. When people ask me, why are you so beautiful and single and smart and not married? Then I'm like, what has that got to do with marriage? But you know what I mean? And people just need to find something to bring your power down. And when I hear that, I always like, oh, why don't you have to go there? I'm human. I'm not superwoman yet. Maybe I am, but I don't know. There is that little girl in all of us that is in pain. And we need to work on our healing transformation. And I think this will really help represent the strength of, it's not about your hijab anymore. It's not about your hijab anymore. It's not about your job anymore. It's about that pained little girl who is working on being aware of who she is, why she feels small when she shouldn't be. I'm a 2 times Amazon bestselling author, an international speaker, and these are bragging rights because this is the works we have done. And why do we have to succumb to our twisted cultural belief, which people use the deen, or you have to be an adab, your voice need to be not be heard, you need to be this and that, when it's all a twisted cultural belief that we are still succumbed into. So these are things I believe you guys know, but this is personal experience and how I moved from that stage of moving from victim to victor. Samira, thanks for bringing up that accident story. Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, okay, so this was happened in April 2005. I met with an accident, fractured, dislocated my spine, and doctor said I will never be able to walk anymore. And now I have 8 screws, 2 metal rods on my spine. Since then, I took up diving. I've been traveling. I'm actually on a 6-month travel now. I actually met Charmaine on my first travel to Dubai. Yeah, so Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Oman, India, and to get the award, Egypt to get an iconic Global Women Award with Women Economic Forum, and then I came to Morocco as a stopover to go to UK to continue my studies in there's this Islamic psychology and psychotherapy. with Cambridge Muslim College. And then, of course, because of the COVID, nothing happened. And here I am in Morocco, very happy. And so due to the accident, of course, it took me a whole year to pick myself up, learn how to walk again. I used to be a model, imagine, on the runway, and suddenly I didn't know how to walk. I had to literally be taught how to stand up from the wheelchair and learn how to walk again. Ouch. I remember when the nurses held my hand and said, the doctor said walk, and I'm like, how do I walk? And they said, oh, you have to, but they said use your hips to walk. And I'm like, oh, like catwalk. And that's what literally I said. And I started, I don't know, did I cry or did I laugh? But I was like, how arrogantly have we been transgressing and walking on Allah's earth? And yeah, right now I'm at a stage where I think we need to practice mindfulness as much as we want to be loving and forgiving and giving to others. Ladies, I think we need to work on loving, forgiving, and giving ourselves. It's not selfish. It is personal growth, and it is about your space. It is about you loving you because you have so much of love of Allah Ya Wadud, Allah Ya Rahman Ya Rahim Ya Wadud filled within you for you to give more love, mercy, and compassion to the world. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, that's very, very nice to hear from you, Zai. And we see that you've gone through so much that the next thing coming your way, you would just say, okay, bring it on.
Yeah.
That's it. Alhamdulillah. All of us are like that. And I just pray and hope Allah gives more strength to each one of us. Inshallah.
Ameen, ameen, ameen.
I wouldn't have any questions for you because you've shared a lot and we've got confidence from your speech. We know that we need to have confidence in ourselves. We need to talk to ourselves. We need to give time to ourselves. There's a lot of takeaways which you've given to us. Thank you so much. I'll move on to our last.
Please speak to the right people
who
can support you, because you speak to the wrong person, it's just going to kill you.
Yes.
Speak to Allah. I'm learning this. When I feel something and I need to pick the phone up, I say I make wudu, I make 2 raka'ah prayer, I just speak to Allah. I think it's something I'm practicing and I hope you guys try to. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Inshallah, we will do that as well. It gives a lot of peace. I agree with you. Okay, so our last speaker for the evening, waiting patiently to share her perspective with us, Ms. Tanzila Zaman. Tanzila is a multi-award winning author, speaker, coach, entrepreneur, TV and radio presenter, and a great philanthropist. She is a career mentor at Redbridge College, London, and a mentor for organization which is named Money A&E. Also, she is working as a project coordinator and a trainer. She hosts educational, fun, creative workshops for parents and children, and is very passionate about promoting mother tongue and how it's used to empower the parents and children through different initiatives. She is inspiring the community very positively as much as possible through being a radio producer and a host by her inspirational live radio interview shows that was also awarded the Best Radio Presenter and the show 2018 from Eastwood Media. So let's welcome Tanzila Zaman, our last speaker for the evening. Yes, Tanzila, welcome to the session and go ahead and share your perspective with us. You've heard all of the ladies speak and we'd like to hear from you as well.
Assalamu alaikum, all wonderful sister here. And thank you so much, Samina, such a beautiful introduction. And I would like to say thank you to Loani, Caroline, sister, making this amazing platform, share all the sisters' amazing story. So thank you. From my side, it's quite different from all of them. My all beautiful sisters already shared all the amazing stories, perspective. So actually I don't have too much to share as they share, but I can share my own personal journey. Actually, I am Tanzila. I came from Bangladesh to London for as a higher study, my master's degree, as I work in a world's largest engineering firm as a computer engineer. And in the time, I can remember one thing I can mention when I had the staff interview for, recruiting. It is a bit, competitive so much. So as a Bangladeshi modest families, you know, women. So it was so tough to do the interview, had some panel, blah, blah, blah. So one thing I can remember, they asked me, your first training will be in Singapore. So will it be okay to go alone, have the training for yourself? Then I answer very profoundly, very confidently. I said, of course, I don't mind to go anywhere in the world without, no problem. With my modesty, with my humbleness, with my, my genuine, who I am. I can go anywhere in the world and having my training or anything. Then they clapped. Then they said, the best answer you gave me, because there another participant was women. So maybe their answer was not the way I did, because I feel I wearing a scarf, wearing a hijab, I can't go there and there is not me, Tanzila. So I said, I'm a modest woman with a modest family, but I'm happy to openness within myself. It was my first experience with my hijab, my scarf. Then I move in London and I see their diverseness. I feel diversity is a power, strength, and it's amazing feelings. And being an inclusive society, feel yourself very proud, feel yourself who you are and respect. So most of the part of my life in London, I feel I'm very in touch with family. Community family. I never feel I'm withdrawn. I know it's kind of little bit like, oh, Tanjila, really, but yeah, actually from my side, I never face any negative comments, negative approach, and negative. So for me, living in London, having this broad life, diversity life, people appreciate who I am. Actually, I think my other sister said immediately, other sister and the immediate other sister said the thing I want to mention. Actually, it's me. It's me, Tanzila, how I accept myself, how I love myself, how I think who I am. If I don't appreciate myself, nobody will appreciate. So I mix with people. I appreciate other people so openly. I say, a positive word, welcoming them in my life. So, and I got a reflection and they appreciate me because my best friend are BME. They're all black, Asian minority, also white, also brown. So, I'm so diverse inside me. And only thing I believe is simple. All the sisters say, actually, we need to love ourselves. We need to acknowledge ourselves, appreciate ourselves. It doesn't matter the appearance only, inside out. So then the people will appreciate me and they'll see who I am and they will accept me. This is simple in a precise way. I want to say, is me, all about me, how I love and represent myself. And it will give me sustainable within them, the society. This is the gist of me. Feelings, experience, perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tanzila. I'd just like to ask you, what are the kind of interviews you host on your radio station?
Thank you. Good question. Actually, my show name, Inspiration with Tanzila Jaman, is like soul of window. That means from your mind, from your soul, you can see, you can see through how openness, how prosperity, how positive possibilities, how positive things come. So I normally interview millionaires, very high profile people, even normal people, but they have something to share, the community, their struggle, their life, their problem, all the things. But in saying and describing their life, they can value other people, they can give self-esteem other people and hope other people, love other people. Then people can, okay, shake up, okay, she can do it and he can do it, why not I can do it, I can do it. It does not matter who I am, I can do it, I can achieve. So my all the inspirational shows are all about people's struggle and life in scarcity, but through them they come out a possible way, vast way. They are like contributing society, different ways themselves, or like in individual. Yeah.
Okay,
Also,
that's
I interview
excellent.
women. Also, I
Sorry.
interview women. I have some Facebook live show. I call it like Women Empowerment Show, where I inspire the audience through all the women's hardship, or there any voice, or even they have any financial resilience, they have any organization or any business, they can share their journey and they can inspire other people. So I'm very happy to inspire all the women you have. I'm very happy to invite my beautiful sister on my show. I'm very happy to. Please.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. I must say that your positivity and your energy levels are so high, and definitely they are contagious. Uh,
Thank
we
you.
all have got a lot of energy from listening to you. Thank you so much. And I would just like to conclude by saying that it's been a wonderful session, and I've been enjoying each and every perspective shared by each one of you. I would now hand over the mic back to Buki as well as Shermaine to add on what they need to. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Samina. Thank you very much, everyone, for accepting my invitation to be in this platform. It's been a very wonderful night, and I am so inspired. I am so empowered with all your inspiring stories and achievements, accolades. I hope that if this lockdown will finish, we will have our first thriving hijab summit, and you will all be my speakers. Hopefully, if we cannot do it in Dubai this year, we will do it in the Philippines by next year. And thank you so much for tuning in to our guests. Thank you for joining us. And Thriving Hijabs is in season 2, and it's one of the anchor event of Prodigy Bureau, the makers of Global Women Empowerment Summit. Thank you to Caroline for collaborating with me and hosting these beautiful and wonderful hijabi sisters. I am so inspired. I want to wear hijab now. Anyway, I'm Ramadan Kareem, and you have a very wonderful night. Thank you so much. Buki, you want to add something?
Sorry, Charmaine. I think one of the attendees has some questions, which is I'm seeing on the chat window, somebody with the name Ayman's iPhone. I'm not sure who the person is, but it says Ayman's iPhone. The person has 2 questions or 1 question for 2 speakers. So I'd like, probably,
Yes,
can we take the
proceed.
question before we
Yes,
end?
sure. Yes, sure.
Yes. Ms. Samina, assalamu alaikum. My name is Eman. Thank you so much for taking the question. At the very outset, let me just say that it's been a wonderful session listening to everybody. And I'll just quickly get to the question because I'm sure everybody has, other commitments and, because everybody has prayers and all of that. Right. So this is a question specifically for those speakers who have been working in industries that are predominantly male. And I believe we had a speaker who was also from a media background, right? So the question is, in the current feminist discourse, there's something called as the male gaze, which is essentially about how a woman is portrayed in media, whether it's Hollywood or Bollywood or any kind of film industry. It is how the male perceives a woman, and that is the representation we see on screen. So for those women who have been working, especially wearing the hijab, which is essentially a modest outfit and supposed to cover yourself modestly, have you ever felt that the male gaze has affected you or not affected you? Because as a hijabi myself, I've had this question been asked, whether innocently or mischievously, that, oh, I wonder how you look like without the hijab, by my male friends back in college. So I'm wondering, those women who've been working in the male dominated industry, how has your experience been regarding the male gaze and this perception of how you look like without the hijab?
Let me start by saying that I've met a lot of my colleagues who have been in this situation. I rarely go through it myself because guys tend to be afraid of me or of my reaction because I'm very outspoken. So to them, sometimes I'm a bit of a loose cannon because I can be very sarcastic and in my answers. So I think sometimes when people try to make you feel less of what you are by asking these kind of questions, in a way, and I'm not saying it's your fault, it's their perception of you, if they think they can get away with it. In my case, I remember once I was transferred into this unit and they had this reputation of being a bit nasty to women. They did not like to have women employees there. So I started by picking someone who was the worst of the lot and giving him the opportunity to try to make me less of what I am. And I made an example out of him. And everyone started being very careful. So usually when I'm in the media, I make sure, whether it's in the way I look at people, direct eye contact, my body language, my tone, I'm not to be trifled with. And of course, unfortunately, that can backfire at you again, because sometimes you are perceived as a shrew, but I'd rather be perceived as a shrew than having to go through something like that. And I'm not hesitant when someone try to cross that line of telling them right away, like when someone actually asked me something like that, and I said, you do realize in this culture, and you being a Saudi man as well, that that kind of question can be interpreted as sexual harassment. Please do not ask these kind of questions. You just have to be very strict on how you deal with it. But that's, and again, I live with 6 brothers, so I come off a bit strongly shrewish and a bit of a loose cannon. So maybe the ladies can give more of a balanced answer.
Can I share something? Hear me?
Yes, I go
Yes,
ahead.
yes, go.
Yeah, okay. So my dear, how young are you? The lady who asked the question?
Sorry, could you repeat your question, please?
How young are you? The one who asked the question?
I'm 26.
Whether you're 6, 16, 26, 60, you're going to get that stare and gaze anyway. Whether you wear the hijab or you don't wear the hijab, you wear short skirts. I used to wear the niqab. I wear all black and I get stared right into my eyes. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? I've had, then after that, I've had working with my business mentors, male dominated in chambers of commerce. I've had sitting at a cocktail table. We were all having drinks. He just looked straight at me. Do you know you're very gorgeous, attractive, and sexy, and stare right into my boobs? And I didn't know what to do at that time. But then I realized that this was the energy I was attracting. Is there something I need to work on myself? So much of Noor on my face now. Yeah, but yeah. So sometimes we allow such things and conversations to happen because we feel so small and not worthy. But the truth is we need to ask ourselves, why are we keep attracting that kind of energy? I keep attracting such energies.
Right.
So we want to work on that as well. But of course, we're not saying we are at fault all the time and we allow them to bully us. No, put them where they belong. Recently, someone told me something, oh, I wish I can have children with you. And I'm like, did I say I want you to be the children of my father? That's how I replied. And that was it. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, just take them head on.
Yeah.
Actually, you'll allow me to share one story that will collaborate that idea. 2 of my colleagues regularly need to transfer this material from the main building to another building. And the security, this one security, keeps stopping them every single time, telling them you have to have a paper from the system allowing you to move this material from this building to another building. Now that permission is given for electronics, computers, not for posters. Yes, big posters, but they're still papers. So after a couple of months of having to go through this weekly, they asked me to just, get the posters from the building into the car. And to get those posters, I'd have to make 2 trips. So they came to pick me up, and I'm standing outside the building with all of the posters. And they said, so you got them all out in one trip? And I said, no, it took me 2 trips. What did you do with them while when you went back and forth? And I said, I asked the security guy to keep an eye on it for me, and said, are you kidding me? The security guy who would not let us take it out watched it for you and did not demand anything. And I said, no, he did not ask for permission or anything. I said, can you watch it for me while I go and get the rest? And then he helped me get it outside, and I just waited for you to pick me up. And again, it's, as you said, it's how you portray yourself. It's the energy you send away. Sometimes, especially for predators, they sense that energy and they react to it. And unfortunately, it will take a few tries for you to recognize it and adjust it.
Right, absolutely. And I think one of the important things is that you can't really specify, because from my own personal experience, I can tell you I've studied in 3 different countries. So for high school, I was in the Middle East. For my college undergrad, I was in India. And for postgrad, I was in the UK. And I realized there is no, sort of ethnicity or race or age group which helps you kind of identify these kind of predators. It can be literally anyone in any age group. They can be your classmates, they can be, your juniors in college, or even, professors for that matter. And it can be very unnerving. As a woman, you're always on your guard. And I find that a bit of, although alhamdulillah, my own experience has been okay, because I think with what Miss Layla said, that, if you have brothers around, you tend to have that personality to just fight it off, right? But I have seen people who have caved in, to this kind of feeling and to this kind of predator behavior. So, I mean, for general women, how do you think we should be handling this?
Can I share something?
Yes, Rukia.
So I think a lot also has to do with the kind of boundaries you set. And having said that, sometimes we feel that it's our mistake, or, we, for some reason, begin to think that we have...
Rukia, put the mic to your mouth. I can hear you.
Okay. So we think that it's our mistake, or we begin to think that, I did something wrong, or I did something to attract, or am I dressed appropriately? Did I speak to the person in a way, or did I smile in a particular way? But just being conscious and aware that you have to set healthy boundaries and not lock yourself down or cave in, as you said, Ayman, to feel that you are the reason why this is happening to you. And just being confident in the space that you have is very, very important. Again, like I said, respecting yourself and accepting you for who you self are is very, very important. So, yeah.
I want to share, please.
Yes, please.
Shall I?
Yes.
Yes.
For my personal experience, maybe it will work out, because when I start working in London with hijab media, one of the guy is my father says, he's not young, he's my father says, he was poking me quite a bit because you are so cute, you are, you know what, like, all this good word they use. So I can feel like the tone was quite negative. So I think it's very important what I did. I communicate with the person. I said, uncle, you are like my uncle, my father. I respect you. He is like in a top position. So I communicate very nicely, very politely, very humbly. I said, uncle, I really respect you. I really admire you as my father, and I believe you will look after me as a daughter. Then I see the scenario changed. So he didn't poke me anymore. So I think sometimes we need to communicate, because some people, it doesn't matter. The sister also said how the race or the age or the some people are like even very old. They are poking people. They're checking actually they get any positive feedback. So I think it's very important. They are checking the who is on who. So if you communicate very nicely, politely, then the person understand the lady has a self-esteem. The lady is not that lady I am thinking. So you can't do that. That means I think the communication make aware about the situation, and no more poking, no more that that kind of stuff happening. So I want to say that the 26 young sister of ours, when somebody approach you, you don't say anything that time. You take time and say in a nice time, I mean good time, I would like to say you something, it's my request, I want to share something with you. Then you express, I really appreciate, maybe you think me very positive way, but I don't like the way you think. I think you very respectful, honorable way. So I am not the lady, the girl who you are thinking. So I appreciate you are not doing anymore the way you think. So if you tell personally, privately, I believe next time he will honor you, respect you. Thank you.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much, ladies. Do we have any other questions? because we're going to be rounding up soon. Do we have any other questions before we round up? Well, in the absence of that, you know what? I want to let you ladies know that I've been so inspired. I've been so touched with all your stories. And you know, I'm just taking a lot home from the discussion that we had today. And it's been like I've heard you all say from what you said, it's a good thing to trust in Allah. And your story, like I said, has been so inspiring. And one thing that I also heard is about forget about the noise outside. You understand? Be focused. You understand? And forget about the distraction and just learn to be focused. And don't put your culture in a box because you want to please other people. You understand? So like I said, I've been so touched. And I wanted to wear my hijab before the start of the meeting, but I didn't find the one that will like complement the dress that I have on. But I have this one, but I forgot to wear it. And I wanted to wear it because I want you all to know that you are not alone. We are all together. So that's just the point that I wanted to prove. Yeah, I see that. That's the point I wanted to prove. So I would like to say thank you to all of you. And it's been a very interesting discussion. And also I would like to say that as Sisterhood of Strength, we always finish by saying that we are together. You are not alone. And, you're just going to say it in your own language, just the best way that you understand it in your own language. So anyone who wants to go first, who would like to go first? Am I on mute?
It's okay, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So who would like to go first on that?
On what? Sorry, I think I missed the last part.
We cannot hear you.
Yeah, okay, you can hear me?
The last part, just the last part. What did you want to ask?
Okay, our sister would
can't hear you.
What we usually say is, you are not alone, we are here for you, and we are together. So you're just gonna say it in your own language. You understand? Just for us to hear it, and you can say it in your own language. If you don't want to do that, you can also say it in English.
You are not alone.
You're not alone.
Help me, Buki, I forgot. Okay. You are not alone.
We are here for you, and we are together.
We are here for you, and we are here together.
We are here for you, and we are here together.
Yes.
Okay, so I can say it in Arabic if you want.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, please.
Okay. أنتِ مو لوحدك وأنا مو لوحدي. كلنا هنا لبعض. كلنا هنا عشان ندعم بعض. وإذا أحد دعمك اليوم وإذا أحد دعمني اليوم بكرة كلنا بندعم بعض.
No, thank you.
Amazing.
So who would like to go next?
Hindi version.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go in for the Hindi version.
Yes, Sadia from Mumbai.
तुम अकेले नहीं हैं, हम सब साथ में हैं. And the last, can you repeat it again? I didn't get your last sentence.
Okay.
We are here together.
We are here. You are not alone.
Okay.
We are here for you, and we are together.
Okay. तुम अकेले नहीं हैं, हम तुम्हारे लिए हैं, और हम सब साथ में हैं.
Okay.
That's the Hindi version of what you said.
Okay.
I think my Arabic was different. It was more like, you're not alone, I'm not alone, we're here for each other, and if ever someone supports you today or supports me today, we will support each other all tomorrow. Something like that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
That's best.
Tagalog.
Okay, Tagalog. What is it, Buki? First sentence, Buki.
Yeah. The sentence, you are not alone. We are here.
Hindi ka nag-iisa.
Okay. We are here for you.
Andito kami para sa'yo.
We are together.
Sabay-sabay tayong lahat.
That's good. That's good. Any other language? Is that
That's
it?
the Kabayan version.
Okay. Any other version?
I can say it in Malay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you're not alone. Kau tak seorang. Kita bersama, and aku dengan engkau. Yeah, that's my broken Malay. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. What I wanted to let you all know that you all have been so, each one of you has been so inspiring.
I want to say in Bangla.
I'm sorry. I thought that's
Okay, Bangladesh version.
Bangladesh.
Yay, yes.
You know, I feel so love to share with you something amazing. We
Okay.
are here, Global Sisters, and this book, I hope you love it. Mind Your Mother Tongue.
Okay.
This book is about mother tongue, so it doesn't matter where we live, our children need to know our mother tongue and hold the legacy. So I really appreciate you put the quote in mother tongue. I want to say
Yeah.
in Bangla, you are not alone. That means তুমি একা নও। আমি এখানে আছি। I am here. We all are here. আমরা সবাই তোমার সাথে আছি। আমরা তোমার সাথে আছি সব সময়। Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanzila.
Do we have any other version, any other language? It's quite interesting to hear it from other language. So if you have any other language you like to say it in, you're welcome to do that. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, well, don't let us take too much of our time. Like I said, I would like to thank each and every one of you. Your story has been so inspiring, and you know, I just want to say thank you. It's been so much positive energy, and I've learned a lot. I just want to say thank you so much, ladies. Thank you. I really, really appreciate you coming here on this platform today. And I thank Sisterhood of Strength. I thank Loni, and I thank PB Glows. Prodigy, I thank you so much. Oh, I thank all of you. So thank you so much, and you all enjoy the rest of the day, okay?
Thank you.
Stay
Thank
safe,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Stay safe,
Please
everyone.
connect on Facebook and LinkedIn,
Pleasure.
please.
Also, to let you all know, Dr. Caroline is behind the curtain. So if you just want to wave, just wave and just say thank you to her.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Caroline.
Caroline.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
beautiful lady.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.